Hi, everybody. Welcome to Real Talk with Marty. And I want to introduce my co-host,
Isaí de la Fuente. And today we have a special guest, Daniel Alonzo.
Daniel. It is so exciting to see you. I'm really excited about this podcast, period. So.
I've been waiting a long time for this, by the way.
So how did you guys meet? How do you guys know each other?
You know what? I'm going to let Daniel tell you first.
Okay. So I was 21 years old. Marty is my grandmother's cousin. Okay. They're cousins. And so Marty was the most famous in the family, although I didn't know her, I just knew about her. And because our family is so gigantic. I mean, I think you got 8 brothers and sisters.
Well, I'm one of 11. And
11.
And my
okay.
dad, who is his great-grandpa, and his great-grandpa, they were one of 13 kids. So we're just...
It's massive. It's massive.
We have tons of family.
So I was raised on the different side of the family. And so, but everybody knew Marty. And so when I started, getting excited about going in business, I said, there's nothing better than going and finding somebody that's already had success and ask them about how they did it. And I also asked her, like, what do you think? I mean, do you think I should go into this type of business? Give me your kind of thoughts. And so we met at a restaurant right across the street or right down the street.
Wow.
And I was 21 years old. I didn't know anything about anything. And she changed my life. She's been my hero for, I think we determined, was it 28 years or something like that? I mean, she's been my hero. I mean,
Wow.
legit.
And it was really funny because when we first met, my team was going to Tony Robbins' seminar. So, I said, you know what, just come with us to the seminar. So he did. He joined us at the seminar. And I think that you can also accredit a lot of your success to, that changing your life as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I literally was 21 and I'm sitting front row, Tony Robbins, my first, I didn't even know who this guy was, And so
I knew Tony and we had great seats.
Yeah, we had great seats. I remember we were front row and I'm going, man, this is unbelievable. It was life-changing for me. I was a young kid, went into business, 21 years old. I mean, no kidding. I was financially independent by the time I was 28 years old. I had saved my first $1 million. I was making $500,000 in passive income. And a lot of that had to do with a couple of good mentors in my business. But for sure, Marty and Tony Robbins, they changed my life.
That's amazing. And you got to give yourself credit because, Daniel was coachable. If you're not coachable, I can tell him everything that I think there is to know, and Tony can preach everything he knows. But if he's not coachable and doesn't do what he's told, this would have never happened.
Well, it's about taking action, right? And just the fact that you even took the initiative to, even call or even know that you want to surround yourself by successful people because you wanted to learn from successful people, right? And I mean, even that alone, I mean, it's awesome at such a young age, yeah.
And we barely knew each other, so I didn't really know what he was capable of, So. Right. It's a great success story.
So when you called her, was it one of those situations where you called her, you weren't even expecting to get invited to anywhere? You were just calling her to talk, and then it's like, hey, come on with us to Tony Robbins.
Yeah,
and you just said, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
your dad said you should meet cousin Marty.
That's it. That's what he said. He says you need to go talk to Marty. But it was crazy because she's such a hustler. She's such a worker. She's such a leader, leading from the front. That I remember when we met, it was like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and she was just getting out of the office, and she's like, "I'll meet you at this place right after I get out of work." And then I ended up, driving from wherever I met her, and it was like. When the stars align and you put a couple of people together in the same, and we just hit it off, and we're like, you know what, we're going to be friends forever, and that's what happened.
And we have been friends forever.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's been to my events. She's seen me speak on stage, and of course I've been to a lot of her events, and so yeah.
And Daniel talks about me motivating him, but now Daniel motivates me too because I try to watch him every day because he has so much good information and he's so positive, and I feel uplifted every time I listen to him. So it's we
full circle, man.
Yes,
it
is.
It probably feels good, right? Knowing that you had a hand in, or at least played a part in a successful story like his, right?
Yes, and many, he's played a hand in many other people's story, and so have I. And I think this is what I think we all need to, share and learn. Like I said, when I met you, I didn't know that you were going to become this person. I just knew that I could feed you the information, but you took it and you ran with it, and this is what we're trying to teach, our agents. He's trying to teach, his people as well. So I don't know. Tell us more about you.
I own a financial services company. Been in business for now, over 28 years now, and I have about 1,500 licensed agents that work in my organization under me, and we have 55 locations now, and it's pretty independently run. I mean, I always joke around. I mean, they don't need me anymore. Matter of fact, some of them don't even like me anymore. So they're just doing their own thing. I mean, I'm not even kidding. I mean, some of my locations, I haven't had any contact with these people in 10 years. So, I mean, so that is maybe a lesson to learn in what I did, is that I really spent a lot of time building leaders. Like, I was very interested in building other leaders and duplicating my behaviors so that I could create that freedom. Because I really was going after, my original goal was to be retired by the time I was 30. So that was my immediate goal. And then, of course, I got to 30.
You were young.
I was young.
You made a lot of sacrifices. Other kids were out playing and wasting money and, playing, kid games. And
that's it.
You were serious, doing hardcore serious business.
My whole 20s was a blur. Like, everybody else was partying, having a good time. I was hanging out with 50-year-olds and 45-year-olds, and I'm 21, right? And I just wanted to be successful. I wanted to get free. But I really paid attention to the duplication and the leadership aspects of, because I always knew, like, look, people aren't going to follow you if you're not a leader.
Right.
And leadership takes action. Mm-hmm. And once I figured that out, I said, okay, now I'm going to spend a lot of time. I built systems and manuals and replicatable ideas that I could pass on to all of my leaders, the people that really stepped up. I said, look, I'm going to make sure I'm going to make this nice and cookie cutter for you. So all you got to do is you come in, you just follow these systems, and these systems are going to allow you to replicate my success. And if you do that, you're going to have some great success for yourself. So that's what I spent a lot of time on, and that's, I think, what got me free so fast. Now at 28 or 30 years old, I listened to Tony Robbins again, and what did he say? He said, when you retire, you die, right? That's what he said. Yep. And I listened to that, and I said, I'm not retiring, man, because I don't want to die. So,
yeah, me too. Passing, when I'm going to retire, I go, when I'm dead.
That's what I'm keep on going. Yeah, that's why I'm not stopping,
Yeah.
So I love it.
Well, it's like when we talked about, we got to, keep moving. We got to keep exercising,
right.
Our body, our mind, our work. And, there's so many more people that need our help. That's how I feel. And I don't see myself retiring anytime soon.
I mean, I love it when people are like, because I'm 49 years old, and they're like, but you look like 39 years old. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I love that, because it just, it's really like the culmination of a lot of years of sacrifice, though, right? I mean, I don't overeat. I don't overindulge, right? Moderation in everything, right? If I have some wine, I don't need to drink 2 bottles of wine. You know what I mean? If I have a cocktail, I don't have to have 5 cocktails. So everything in my life has been moderation, and then it, after all said and done, it kind of shows, right? And then you kind of go, wow, I'm so glad that I made good choices about, like, the food I ate. I mean, I do eat meat, but I don't overeat meat. I do drink alcohol, but I don't over drink alcohol.
And all your people on your team are looking up to you, and they're watching this.
That's it.
You're leading by example, because I try to do the same thing. It's like, I don't want to, overeat. I work out. I don't want to drink. I don't want to get drunk. I don't want to act crazy, because, you and I have a lot of people depending on us.
That's it.
They're watching us, at all times. So, and I take great responsibility for that.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
That's why you're successful.
Yeah, exactly.
us agents are looking all the time.
They
We're
are.
watching, and we're watching.
Saeed,
I know your examples
and, you
are
know
awesome.
what, and you know what you say,
Yeah.
because, there's so many things that, from being a brand new agent, coming in, in the training, having clean clothes, having them pressed, polish your shoes, wash your car. I mean, it just goes on, and take care of yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean,
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think, and what we're talking about right now, I mean, it really just, it's about so many aspects. It's just about everything in life, right? It's not just about having a successful company. It's about, just life in general. I mean, when lead by example, for example, right? It's with our kids, when we're parents, our kids look up to us. They're watching us on how we interact with our spouse, how we, are we, over drinking alcohol? Are we, all that stuff. I mean, it's just all part of life as far as like how we live our life, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And it's just, this, what we're talking about, it has to do with everything in life, not just business or anything like that. So
I feel like, my dad, you didn't know my dad. And, I always have, my dad was, the Tony Robbins for the family.
Wow.
Yes.
Really? Okay.
Yes, because he, from the time we were little, it was, tell me who your friends are, I'm going to tell you who you are. And if he didn't like our friends, he'd ask him to leave the house. I mean, you're raising 11 kids,
That's it.
And,
Wow.
and we all went to Catholic school. I don't even know how we did that. And if he didn't like the way your friends looked, it was like, tell them to leave. I don't want them in my house. And you could do that because, you could, back in the days, and we didn't have telephones and we didn't have, the communication that we have now. But he was truly, our Tony Robbins. And, you don't cuss, you don't say bad words, you better get good grades, and you don't come home with the D because D was for dead, Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, so many rules. And, we go to church on Sunday, and, and you dress properly, he saw how we dressed, or makeup, or whatever it was. I remember him making me wash my face one time. So,
I mean, that's hardcore. I mean, and kids now though, you try to implement some of those things. It doesn't work exactly the same
like
way.
it
It
did
doesn't
then.
work like it used to. But if
Yes.
you have 11 kids, I mean, you have to be direct and getting and thinking about business when it comes to that though. Your father was showing us a good example of even how to run an actual business. Because, I mean, when you have a bunch of agents like I have, you have to be direct. Right. You can't beat around the bush with every single person. That's because right. If you do, first of all, it would take too long. I always tell people I mastered the 2-minute call, where I'm on the phone for 2 minutes and I'm going to tell you what I think we need to do in 2 minutes. And then we need to get off and let's move on and let's get this thing going. Yeah, I mean, I had a pretty tough conversation with a guy yesterday, and I'm like, what are you doing? You're putting all this stuff on social media. You're spending all this time on social media, but look at your results, so ask yourself, what are you doing, right? What is the point of the social media? What is the point of what you're trying to accomplish? And what I was seeing is that some of the things, some of the markets that he was, communicating with, they were in other countries. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you can't sell to people in other countries. So that's not your market. You shouldn't be spending time with any of those people in other countries and other markets, because that's not who we sell to. Uh-huh. So if you look at if he had great production, I wouldn't have said anything to him. Right. But I looked at the production and I was very direct. And I know if anybody was listening to this conversation, they would have said, Daniel's an a-hole. You know what I mean? Like, they would have been like, this guy's a jerk. If they could have heard me have a conversation with this guy. But what's interesting is that, before the call was over, I told him, I said, look, man, that I care about you. That I want to see you win. And I do believe in you, because I wouldn't have taken the time, because I was on the phone with them for 10 or 15 minutes, with them. I said, I would have never taken that kind of time with you if I didn't believe in you. If I didn't believe you had what it took to become successful here. But I guess the point I was trying to make is that sometimes as leaders, we have to be direct. Right. And I'll tell you, you create the best leaders that way, because the best leaders, they actually listen and they actually respond and they're actually coachable, and they take that and they go, okay, I'm going to do what you tell me to do.
Right. because I'm studying you, and this is what you need to do to get up here.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
and,
it.
and they're willing to listen.
They're willing to listen.
What do you guys think is the biggest challenge that people face in not getting it through that, not getting past
That barrier?
Yeah, that barrier. What do you guys think is the biggest challenge people face? Is it just doing it, just taking action?
Well, I think, especially now these days, right? It's the distractions that are killing people's businesses, right? It's, I tell people that I am a content creator. I'm not a content consumer for the most part, right? I consume some content, but for the most part, I'm not a content consumer. So you'll never catch me scrolling for 3 hours a day, right? It's just not going to happen, right? I'm a creator, though. I will spend some time creating because I believe that I'm trying to create a brand. I've always done that. I've tried to create an audience. I've tried to stay relevant in my marketplace. And of course, I believe in social media. I believe in technology and the future of it. But I think that the distractions are really, we're wasting time on TV. There's so many. I mean, you got HBO, you got Netflix, you got, whatever else you got, Disney Channel, you got all these different distractions, and you're going, well, wait a minute, what's the goal here? The goal is for you to get your family free. The goal is to build financial freedom. The goal is to go sell and recruit and train and develop and build something, that's lasting. Like I was always inspired by Marty because, she made a lot of money, but then she bought properties, and then she bought a building, and then she created assets, and then she, recruited agents, and then she trained these agents, and then she did all these different things. And I was inspired by that because I wasn't selling to sell. Like, it wasn't like I want to sell, but I'm not selling just to sell. I'm selling so that I can build something that is worth something that can allow my family to have financial freedom, right? I'm going to put on my oxygen mask before I'm going to go buy stupid crap, right? Before I'm going to, go just buy Lamborghinis and all this. Like, I wanted to have millions and millions saved. So that way, if something happens, the market goes down, if my company goes out of business, if something tragedy happens, I'm the guy that's going to write that check. I'm the guy that's going to save the family.
Right. Mm-hmm. And, and I've been through that, in 2000. Well, actually, it's been a couple. Actually, in 1989, the market crashed, and then went back up again to 2007. And here we had another crash. And again, I survived those markets because I didn't overextend myself, and, even today, all my properties are paid for. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because that's where I need to be. And that's why I'm able to survive, where a lot of these people went out of business because they were overextended. They started buying, the boats and the cars, and, with this market in 2005, 6, and 7, people were buying houses they couldn't afford. So the market just crashed, and these people lost everything because they were overextended. They started partying, and spending the money in the wrong places instead of trying to get themselves financially, like you said, secure. So when something happens, you're ready. So, yeah. And
no, I got a story about that. But my mom, she's she's one of the most beautiful, wonderful ladies that you'll ever meet in your life. I mean, her and Mother Teresa, they're like, they could be sisters. She's an amazing woman. But my mom, she has been doing my books, and she's kind of in charge of, she makes sure all my taxes are paid on time, and she makes sure that, she goes through all my mail and makes sure I'm on top of things. And she's amazing. I don't even know what I would do without her. She's that important to me. But I remember one time she was looking at all of our assets and looking at, on the computer and everything. And she's like, how come you don't go buy a bigger house? Or how come you don't go buy nicer this? Or how come you don't, because, in her nature, I think she just is a little bit of a spender. And so she likes to spend. And so she was kind of wondering, like, why am I like that? And I said, one day somebody's going to need me, and somebody in our family is going to need me. And I want to be that person to take care of issues. And we did have a family member, believe it or not, this is maybe 2 years ago. I wrote about it in the book, in my book, Wealth on the Beach. And it actually happened when I was writing the book. And we had a family member that he had some dental issues just because of the way he lived his life. It was not good. And his teeth were like gone. And the doctor basically said, like, look, if you don't get this fixed, because you could die. I mean, a lot of people don't realize your dental, like your oral, fitness
could affect your entire body.
Your whole body. I mean, people have died from issue, and they actually told them you're going to die. I mean, because it's so bad, and they're like, well, so he went and got it checked out, and they were like, yeah, it's going to cost about $60,000, and we don't take payments, we don't take loans, we don't take nothing, and I was able to cut a check for $60,000 right on the spot to make sure. So now he has full on new teeth, full on oral fitness. He's completely fine. He's not, he's safe. He's okay. But, who's got most people, who's got $60,000 just laying around, just that you can cut a check to help somebody. And again, know that you're probably never going to get paid back or anything like that. But again, I did it because you want you want to be that person that is taking care of your family. That's what families are for. Yeah. That's what we're supposed to be here, right? I mean, if my family needs something, man, you can count on me. That's
what I felt good about, was helping my mom and dad, financially.
That's it.
And that was the best feeling in the whole world.
It really is. It's everything.
It's everything.
Yeah.
Oh, I get emotional.
I know. Well, you get emotional because a lot of people, they don't get it because everybody lives day by day. They live just for themselves, and nobody has a vision for the future. It's kind of like, when you invest money or you buy a property, and the property, it's like, okay, I'm excited. I bought the property today. And then next year, the market value goes to crap, right? Like my building, when I bought my building, I bought it at the wrong time. And it literally went from like $1.1 million down to like $600,000 at some point, like during the market crash. But I had a vision for the future. I said, look, first of all, I'm not selling the building. I'm going to keep it. It's my building. I'm still using it. I was bringing in cash flow.
And real estate always comes back.
And real estate always ends up going back. And of course it did.
It did.
And it's probably double what I originally bought it for. So not only did it get back to where it's even, it doubled even from there, So, and I was just telling you how much cash flow I'm bringing from it. It's like
renting the whole building.
I'm renting the whole building. So it's a ridiculous amount, but it's vision. Like this is the issue. Nobody has vision for the future. And if we don't get people thinking about, like, you're not living just for today. Like when you prospect today, right? When you get after it and you make the calls and you talk to the clients and you get after it, you're not doing it for what happens today.
Right.
You're doing it because of what your business is going to look like 5 years from now.
Yeah.
That should be your thought process. It's not like everybody microwave society, man. We got to start thinking about 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years down the road, 30 years down the road for me, right? I mean, it's a long time.
And the market's even changed like now. And Isai will tell you, I'm probably prospecting more than I ever have. And he sees the girls telling me, hey, Marty, get back on there. Marty, don't waste time. Marty, you need to do income producing activities.
I love it.
So, and he's cracking up. He's like, they're talking to Marty like that.
I know.
She's surrounded by the girls that keep her, hold her accountable. And it's just, it's funny to watch. It's really cool.
It is.
Well, but it's wild. I mean,
what? At my
humbling.
I'm still coachable. You know?
Absolutely.
I mean, I know, because you have to understand, Marty's a legend, right? I mean,
why we know that.
I mean, she's a legend in real estate, in this industry, and to watch her be so coachable and allow others to hold her accountable. I mean, it's like, okay, if she's doing it, we better do it. Like, it's just like you said, leading by example. Mm-hmm. And
because there was a time when the market was easier. And markets come and go. Sometimes they're easy, sometimes they're tough. They go like this. And when they're easier, you get to sell more for us for more properties. And when they're tougher, maybe it's less, but I'm going to get my share of what's available because I'm going to work hard to get it. So Yes, and I know I've been through the good, bad, and the ugly.
No, I remember Marty, I asked you this. This was probably back in like 2008 or whatever. And I tell this story to a lot of people. And I remember asking Marty, like, what do you think is going to happen? And, because I was probably scared because that was the first real estate, mess that I had ever seen.
Exactly.
And I'm like, what do you think is going to happen? And she's like, this is where you find out who the true players are, right? This is where you find out the true winners that make it past this. And again, she had been through multiple downturns of the market in her lifetime. So it was very easy for her to say, look, things are going to get better. You just got to ride it through, and you got to humble yourself. You got to go back to work. You got to get serious again, and then you got to keep moving forward.
And I felt like I was a new agent because in 2007, 8, 9, and 10, you know what? I had to learn how to do short sale. I had to learn how to do bank repos. I hadn't not done that before. So I was like a brand new agent, and I had to take my whole team and train them on how to do this. I go, this is how we're going to get past this, lull in the market. And we did.
Right.
And then the market shifted and, went its way back up, and, interest rates came down, and, now we have a shortage. But you know what? The thing is, now you have to know how to work. So a lot of agents are out of the market. But again, that leaves it, the business for the people like us who are still in the market, who know how to work. We know how to work hard. And, we will adjust to whatever the market says we have to do. Am I calling more? Sure, I'm calling. Am I following it more? Yes, I am.
That's it.
And, and we want the whole team to do it so we can succeed as a team. I want everybody on the team to be successful.
Winners always find a way to win. They just find a way. It doesn't matter. Go around, go over, go under, go through. It doesn't matter. I mean, winners, you figure out a way to win. That's why you don't watch TV. A lot of people don't realize this. When I first went into business, 21 years old, I didn't watch TV for 3 years. I literally turned off my television for 3 years. I was so cheap when we bought our little condo in Rancho, first little condo that we bought, and we had no cable in there. So the TV, I think maybe we got channel 5 or something like that.
Cable costs money.
We had to, and I was so frugal. And this is, again, a big lesson that I learned through the years is you live below your means, and I've been telling a lot of real estate friends that I've had throughout all these years, look, when times are good, that's great. But you better be saving your money, man. You better be living below your means. You better be doing the right things with your money. You better be investing. You better be saving. You better be building assets because, again, good times, they come and go, right? I mean, sometimes things are rocking. Sometimes things aren't rocking. And you better be in a position 10 years from now better off than you were, previous 10 years, So, but yeah, it's to me, you just find a way, there's always a way.
There's always a
way.
You
just got to find it,
and if you get in the rut with the people that are complaining all the time, you will never find the way through them. You need to find your way through the people that are doing it every day and listen to them, watch them, But because I remember when I first started in the business, 46 years ago, the office I started in, there was a bunch of people, and in real estate was a lot of older people in the business at that time. And, they were drinking coffee, reading the newspaper, complaining, telling me, really telling me why I couldn't do what I think I wanted to do. And it was like, oh my God, these coffee drinkers here at the office, I need to get out of the office. So I just started, knocking doors and going outside and talking to people and getting rejected, but, going back out. And pretty soon I think, I know who these people are. These are the naysayers and the people that I need to stay away from. And, and that's, I think, where it started. Because once I came to that realization, and we had a good trainer in the office. He wasn't a good salesperson, per se, but he was a great teacher. Okay. And he taught me, a lot. And that's kind of where I started. And, here I was trying to find clients. I came to Glendora. I didn't know anybody here, so I had to start from scratch. I didn't know anybody. So, knocking doors, meeting people, and just, doing it. And remember, we didn't have computers. We had books. So I really learned the hard way. And now today I'm glad because, I'm way ahead of people. I learned the hard way. I know those streets. I know the floor plans. I know the houses. I know how to talk to people. I know how to talk on the phone. I know how to communicate. And I'm also a master texter and a master emailer because a lot of kids today don't want to talk anymore. So they forgot how to communicate with with people. And I'm telling you now, communication, texting, and email, all three are as important. Yeah, I think that they are.
I knew. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, 'cause, just to add to that, she never complains about, like the rates went up.
Right.
Rates are high. There, when you hear a lot of agents talking about the challenges in the market, why it's so hard to put deals together, you never hear that from her. She just finds a way, just like you said. Just finds a way.
I knew that, because sometimes people ask me, like, when did you know you were kind of going to make it?
Right.
And I knew I was going to make it. And I remember driving home from, like, it was up in the mountains, like Wrightwood or something like that. And I was driving home from an appointment, and man, they were just terrible clients. They were so mean to me, and they were so stupid.
I remember those days.
Yeah, and I'm like, and I'm driving all, and again, I prospected all morning, all day. I was calling people on the phone, doing all the things. And then I go to an appointment, and I'm driving home, and it's like almost snowing. I think I remember it was just like, and it was so dark, and it was like these little winding roads, and it was so,
Did you ever have the feeling? I know when I was brand new, my first 6 months, I worked so hard and nothing was happening.
Oh yeah,
I almost got out of the business.
Oh,
I
yeah,
almost thought I wanted to quit.
Well,
Did you have that?
you know what? I never thought quit, but it was in those moments that you were thinking in your mind. Like for me, I was thinking, I have to make it.
Right.
I'm going to make it, because you know why? Is because nobody would be willing to do what I'm willing to do. Like, I am so different from, like, just crazy or weird or whatever it is. I was willing to work all day long, get beat up all day long, and then drive to freaking up the mountain in the snow, and I'm driving back home, and I'm thinking, I'm going to make it. Because nobody's willing to do this. Right. Nobody would be willing to work this hard for no money, by the way, because I made no money that day. I was broke that day. Yeah. So it was just a matter of, okay, I just got to keep doing it, keep getting better, because if I'm mastering my craft and I'm learning the lines and I'm learning the overcoming objections, and I'm just getting better every day.
That's right.
I tell my son right now, because he's starting to do the business, and he actually made, you should look up my story, because he made his first ever Instagram video.
Oh,
so
good.
And he talks about the rule of 72 and compound interest and stuff. It's really cool. He actually did a great job. But I told him, I said, you just got to master the words. Kind of like if you're an actor, you got to learn your lines. You gotta learn. And then the lines just become so natural. Like it's so easy, because you just know it so well. You know all the objections, you know what to say, when to say it, how to say it, with who to say it to. And then you just get it so down. Right. And then you're like, anybody that talks to you, they look at you and they go, oh my God, I don't even care that you're 21 years old. They looked at me and they said, oh my God, this guy's a pro. Like, he knew. I mean, I learned from Anthony Robbins. I mean, I remember I bought his How to Influence, that like influence tapes and whatever. Tapes, yep. Oh my God, man. I had Hector Lamarck, I had Art Williams, I had, all these people teaching me how to communicate. I even listened to a lot of talk radio, believe it or not. Laura Schlesinger, Dennis Prager. I mean, all these different people that I would listen to them on the radio, because I wanted to improve my communication skills, right. Which you just said right now. Mm-hmm. Communication is everything. And so if you're out there and all you do is text all day long, in my opinion, you're making a mistake. You got to get on that phone. You got to have that human interaction with people, because again, it separates you from everybody else. People like to hear voices. People like, maybe not every single time. You're still going to be texting people, but you still have to have that skill of communication.
When necessary.
So when it's necessary, you got to be able to pull it out of your. I always tell people, I like the Batman has the belt, right? And he's got all these little things on the belt. Well, he doesn't use it every single time. It's just, you got to have it all on your belt just in case you need it. Communication skill, I got it. Texting skill, I got it, right? Overcoming objection skill, I got it. When you need it.
See, I like that, because you're absolutely right. We have all those things, but as you and I have been in the business longer and longer, not only do we have those skills, we have additional skills that even go beyond the realm, for me, beyond the realm of real estate, for you, beyond the realm of,
financial,
yeah. Because now I can go beyond real estate into legal questions, although I don't give legal advice, but I know the answers and I have them double check with the legal person who is either the attorney or the CPA or whatever. But I know that stuff, so they know me and trust me. It's like a client. In fact, she was here yesterday, and I said, you know what? I want you to go talk to the CPA before we close this escrow. I want to make sure that we're doing it right because the mom put her on title before, and we figured it out. We were going to remove her, and then the CPA says, no, it's okay. What we'll do is we'll just give 100% to the mom who really owns the property on the 1099. But who does that? In real estate, they don't even know to ask that question.
Yeah.
But that's where you and I become a value and an asset to our client. You're not just a financial guy. You're beyond that financial guy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not just a real estate agent. I am way beyond, a real estate agent. Because I know how to help them in the arenas that touch real estate.
That's it.
So, and you're going to get to that only if you immerse yourself into your business, whatever it may be, but learn everything about it, but learn everything that surrounds it out here that touches it, okay? Mm-hmm. And now, let me tell you, they're going to know you, trust you, come to you, refer you, all those things.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how it happens.
And it's exactly what you said earlier too. It's looking beyond, right? And staying focused on the bigger picture. It's what I'm getting, in this conversation, amongst other things. But what I'm saying, like, for example, the challenges that you were faced when you first started off and you weren't making any money, but it wasn't about that moment. You were, right. Your thought was beyond that. Mm-hmm. And being able to achieve that which was in the future, a few years down the line or whatever. And it's about improving your skills and getting better, and like what you're talking about right now as well. And it's just about looking beyond. They were reading a book, and they were talking about Kobe Bryant. I think they were talking about Kobe Bryant, about the in certain moments where he was challenged, it didn't faze him in that moment to be challenged because his thought process was to be great and to be the greatest, right? So for him, that moment that he was being challenged, that he was facing adversity or whatever it was just a stepping stone to get
to his greatness,
to the greatness, which is,
what we're all doing, what we should be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking when you were talking, I was thinking about, when I was just getting started and everybody told me to go to college and get a degree and all these things. And if somebody wants to get a college degree, God bless them, they can do that. But I don't think college is for everybody because everybody doesn't need to learn those things. Like I wanted to learn. I used to tell people all the time, like if in college they were going to teach me how to build a successful business in my field, I would have went to college.
Right.
But they didn't have classes that were going to teach me how to be great at my particular business. Mm-hmm. So I said, I'm not going to go to college. So I said, I'm out. And I actually was going to college at the time, but I quit. And I said, I went full board into building a financial services company. And but
you educated yourself in
your
field
only.
That's it. You focused only on that.
I just focused, and that's what I think is a big challenge. Is like the challenge with college to me in some cases is that they make you learn so many different things. That's why these kids, they're getting out of college 4, 5, 6 years later, and they have no real skill because they've learned so many different things. So then they go try to get a job in their major, but they've learned so many different things that they can't get a job in that major. And by the way, who gets the job? The intern that worked for free for a year. Think about this for a second. The intern that worked for free, you went to college for 6 years. You come in to try to get that same job. Well, guess what? The intern got the job after a year and has been working there for 5 years, making a lot of money at the job that you want after you got out of college. So be real careful. I'm telling everybody, and I talk about this a lot, be very, very careful just automatically putting your kids into college. I mean, I think real estate is a great career. I think financial services is a great career. I think being a mechanic is a great career. There's lots of great careers that you don't need college to go to. I think that guy's Mike Rowe. He did that show, Dirty Jobs. Anybody follow that guy, Mike Rowe? But anyways, he talks a lot about this because
Well, I did the same thing you. I was going to, because, we had to go to work. I'm one of 11 kids. And, we graduated high school. That for my dad was like graduating from college.
Right.
So, so we had a full-time job. So I was going to night school at Rio Hondo College. And what was I taking? Real estate courses. All I took was real estate courses. And I thought, okay, I'm just getting my license. I'm getting into real estate. And so then I tried to go to every seminar I could go to in real estate, to learn, and the people in that office would make fun of me. Oh, you're wasting your time. Oh, they would make fun of me. And, but who got the last laugh?
Well,
but
they're always going to make fun of you.
So I only focused on that, and then I was able to meet Tony Robbins, and, oh my God, we went to so many, and we still follow, Tony, but he had a competitive edge. I must have gone to that like 12 times. I'm not kidding you. And, taken a lot of our, our team members. So for me, it was just, keep feeding the mind, feed good stuff, positive, learn more. I was at a class at the board office yesterday. I'm on Zoom just trying to learn all the new laws and all the new contracts that are coming up in the next, within the next year. So, I'm never going to stop learning. My dad told us that. He goes, you're going to learn till the day you die.
I mean, think about this, okay? She is the perfect example. I hope everybody is getting this right now, okay? She's the perfect example of somebody that's going to live till 120, 130 years old. And I know it sounds crazy, but with technology, and you have money, with technology and money, people are going to be living a lot. It sounds crazy, and a lot of people laugh at me when I say that. But trust me, they say that if you're 50 years old and you don't smoke and drink, you're going to live to 100 years old. You're going to live to 100. Now, that doesn't count the technology that is, and the things that we're learning right now. We're living till one. I'm going for 120 minimum, but imagine by the time I'm 100, they're going to be able to like a cartridge or like, here's another heart, man, just throw it in there, So, it's amazing what's going to happen. But what you're basically saying is that progress equals happiness. And progress equals a better life,
Well, remember, when you give people purpose, you give them life. So we must have a purpose, if we're going to live longer.
That's it.
Whatever that purpose is, you need to find it.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, everybody wants to have, like, the key to happiness is continually improving. Like I tell people all the time, like I'm a crazy self-improvement person. I always self-improve. There's not a morning that goes by when I'm eating my breakfast, I'm usually watching a YouTube and I'm self-improving something. I'm learning something new. When AI came out back, 6 months ago, maybe a year ago now, when it really started coming out, guess who was the first one to sign up? The first one to get on board, the first one to start learning, the first one. I'm an expert AI prompter now. With ChatGPT, I'm an expert.
It is so awesome.
Oh my God. Do you realize, I ask so many questions. I was talking with a friend yesterday and I told him, I said, yeah, maybe in the future I'll buy some properties, maybe rent them out, Airbnb or, whatever. Right. And he's like, but you got to be careful because, what happens if the people never get out or something in the house? And I said, well, that's a good question. And I asked ChatGPT, I'm like, all right, what happens if the person doesn't want to get out? And they're like, well, they have insurance for that. They have this, that, blah, 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 whatever. And I'm like, it's amazing. It's at our fingertips. We can learn anything. So if somebody wants to learn something, guess what? You just get the information and then you take action on that information. That's how you're going to get a better life. Yeah. Now, the problem with most people, though, honestly, is that they learn to learn. That's the challenge. Like all the seminars, I love Tony Robbins. I love all the motivational speakers, all the different people. But the difference between somebody like you motivating and somebody like me motivating, this is the difference, is that if you motivate, you could actually give somebody an opportunity. Because think about it. If there's somebody right now watching and they're like, I want to be like Marty. I want Marty's life. I want to have a life. I want to be happy at, whatever, right? At an older age and more mature, you know what I mean? Like, I want to be vibrant like that. I want that life. Well, guess what? They can call you on the phone and they can say, Marty, I want to intern with you. I want to work with you. I want to see if I qualify. I want to go get my real estate license. I want to work with you. And the same thing with me. That's the difference, by the way. We're not just motivational speakers. Like, I hope people watching right now are understanding we're not just motivational speakers. No. We have a legitimate opportunity. Like, somebody can call me up and they're like, I want to work with Daniel Alonzo. Yeah. They could actually call me up and work directly with me. I will coach them. I will teach them. I will, as long as they're licensed, right? I will coach them, teach them, mentor them, show them everything that I learned from a personal level. And that's the difference between me and you and 90% of motivational speakers. Because guess what? Most of those motivational speakers, guess what they're doing? They just want to sell you their book. They just want to sell you their course. They just want to sell you that, you know what I mean? Versus, like, you could actually change somebody's life. I could actually change somebody's life forever, not just by words, but an actual opportunity to change their life.
That's right.
So,
and by what we do, man, leading by example.
What we do, absolutely.
But you know what's really funny though is I went to so many motivational seminars, but I will tell you one thing about Tony Robbins. They all seem to have the same message, but Tony could deliver it better than all of them.
Right.
Okay.
For sure.
When Tony delivered it, you got it. I felt like it came here and went right through you. Right. You know, yeah. That's the difference too. Even in the motivational speakers.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. He's by far one of the best that ever lived.
Yeah.
So
and it just goes back to you're focusing on the bigger picture, because when somebody, like you said, can call our office and say, I want to be like Marty. Teach me. I want to intern, because that mindset is because they see beyond. They see what they want. They have that goal. They see what they want to become and achieve. Whereas somebody who is just taking a course just to learn, it's a different mindset. They're just seeing just what's right in front of them, right? And that's the difference between somebody who will succeed and somebody who will probably just stay with where they're at. Right. I hope that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, I think it's just a big difference in the mindset when you're learning something. It's what's the purpose? What's your reason? And you know what I'm really getting from Daniel, and myself is, when Daniel started, like you said, you don't buy junk, you don't watch TV. He didn't have social media. I didn't either, but social media exists today, and like you said, he puts out information, good information that I love to listen to. But if you notice, I only listen to social media at like at 11 o'clock at night, because that is not an income-producing, thing for me to do during the day. So if I'm going to do it, it's going to be at the very end of the day, at 11 o'clock at night. And you'll see that if I'm commenting, it's usually that late at night, because I don't want to go down a rabbit hole when I should be working and prospecting and being with my clients at that time. And by the way, I'm into Caitlin Clark. Oh my God, I'm obsessed with her.
Who's Caitlin Clark?
Caitlin Clark is women's basketball player, like the women's college basketball player. Yeah. And she has changed the WNBA and I think women's sports, forever. I mean, she just got a $28 million contract with Nike. Wow. And, those girls only make $76,000 a year. Correct. Okay. Mm-hmm. And it's really kind of crazy when I watch her. I kind of feel like, kind of like the haters, it's like, Caitlin Clark is getting all this attention, but Clayton, she's been playing basketball. She reminds me of Kobe Bryant since she was like 4 years old or whatever. It's like, give her the credit, girls, what she's done for your industry, for the WNBA.
She's raising.
And the coach, I can't think of her name, Staley. Anyway, she when they won the championship, first thing she did was give credit to Caitlin Clark for changing, the WNBA. It was pretty awesome. So now I can't watch her, because they watch their games are at 4 o'clock. So what do? I tape the game and then I watch it late at night, because that's the only time that I have time to watch the game. So you have to pick and choose. I mean,
there's always gonna be haters though. There's people that hate that you have succeeded. Yeah. But they don't understand how much sacrifice and effort
like that little girl did since she was 4 years old.
Since she was 4 years old. Yeah. I mean, she has shot probably millions of, at least hundreds of thousands of shots in her lifetime. I mean, give people credit.
She is filling the arenas now, for their games that they never had before, where they'd have like 5,000 people. Now they got 19,000 people.
Which now they're all going to be making more money because of that. For all of them. For everybody. Yeah, absolutely.
I remember, anyway, I'm obsessed with her.
I remember watching her in college, right? During the playoffs and, the tournaments and all that. And it is just amazing to watch the attention that she gathered from the opposing team. It was like double, triple team, just get the ball out of her hands. Don't let her touch the ball because she's
I'm going to be honest with you. I've never watched a WNBA game in my whole life.
Either have I.
Okay. I watched the Sweet 16, the women's.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I've ever watched basketball. And now I'm taping her games.
Okay,
well, I'll tell you though, I mean, just to all the people, especially that they're getting their businesses going right now. I mean, I never was a big sports guy. I played sports. I was a baseball player all my life. I mean, I think I was a pretty decent baseball player. And I always loved like the big games, the playoffs and World Series and the Super Bowls and all that kind of stuff. But right. I will say though, that, it always used to amaze me that people would paint their faces for Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan or something like that. And I'd just be like, or like getting their autographs and all excited, and look, I mean, God bless them. Anybody that, that's fine. And I'm not hating on those guys. I'm just saying that like, when it's time for us to paint our faces for our families, right? Yeah. For our lives, for us to get excited about what we're doing, you know what I mean? And go, man, I want to be the greatest, salesperson, or I want to build the greatest business, and then tell the whole world about it. Right. Like a lot of salespeople, they don't make money because they don't talk enough. They don't tell enough people. They don't prospect enough. They don't tell their story enough.
Right. And if we don't meet enough people, then, if you don't have the customer, you don't have the business.
You don't have the business.
Yep.
So you got to scream from the mountaintops and tell the world about what you're doing. Just like the people on TV are screaming from the mountaintops, telling their story. Look, we got to get excited about what we do. And also because like, for example, somebody like you have raised the level of success in the real estate business. That's why you're a legend in the business. I look back, I don't know if anybody's ever going to recognize me for this, probably not in the future, but a lot of people don't realize that, a lot of people bashed me early on when I started getting on social media, maybe 2015 or 16 or whatever. And I really started doing it. I was doing it wrong back then, right. But I was trying, I was trying. I didn't know what I was doing. But I'm an action taker, right? I just do it. And then I always tell people I shoot and then I aim later. You know what I mean? It's like, I'll just do it and then I'll just figure it out as I go around. But I really tried because I saw that vision that I knew this was coming. Like the era that we're in right now, I'm telling you, I'm not a psychic, but I knew that this was coming. And I knew that our lives were going to be changed because of technology. And I'll tell you, it is interesting because I was one of the first people to have a scanner, right? Because we always would have file cabinets with all of it. I was one of the first people in our entire company to have a scanner. I was one of the first people to get an iPad. I was one of the first people to get a cell phone. I had one of those Kyocera's that you had to write a different alphabet on there, it was like the little green screen. But I saw a lot of this stuff, but I got made fun of. People told me, what do you want to do? Be a motivational speaker or whatever, I told everybody, I know exactly what I'm doing. And then COVID hits, right? COVID hits. We can't go prospecting anymore. You can't talk to people in person anymore. Everybody's like, wants to stay 6 feet away. Don't talk to me. Don't touch me. Don't, whatever. Right? People are scared. So what did we do? We went into DMing people and social media and meeting people through that form of communication. And I think it saved our company, honestly. Looking back legitimately.
Because you're already ahead of the game.
I was already ahead of the game. And by the way, because I was teaching it for years and years and years before we didn't need it, right? They were able to pivot, right? All the company was able to pivot. We jumped on Zooms. I was already doing Zooms. We were already doing DMs. We were already doing social media. We were already talking about the opportunity and recruiting and training and doing all that stuff through social media. And so, but there was some critical, people in our company, that a few of us, that we got in a lot of trouble. They weren't happy with us. But I guess the lesson here is that sometimes you have to, you have to break the rules to change the rules.
Right.
And today, all the things that they said I couldn't do back in 2016, 17, 18, all of that everybody's doing today. Yeah. Isn't that interesting how that works, But
and you had no idea that you were going to be ready for what was to come,
I had no idea. I just knew that this was the future. And I guess, hopefully people remember that sometimes you got to be brave, you got to be bold, you got to take risks, you got to take some chances, and you got to go for something great. Because in life, man, without action, without risk, I believe, right? Without risk, there's no real wealth. We all took a risk. You took a risk starting a real estate company and not knowing that it's going to succeed. Right. And it's commission, and it's commission.
It's commission only.
It's commission
only.
Well,
when you left the office that you were originally in, right? I mean, you lost.
Money. When I left the office,
it cost you money.
It cost me money to leave that office.
Yeah.
And I told my husband, I said, it's going to cost me $125,000 to leave. And my husband said, leave. That's it. Because I was being suppressed, and best thing I ever did, because like you said, it wasn't about money. It was about the future of the family and my clients, and what I needed to do, what I believed in, because there was something that had happened that was against my values and my beliefs, so it was time to go, time to leave, because I will never cross that line for nobody.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
Brave, man. That's brave right there.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Excited.
Yeah. And and now with our market changing, I'm sure yours has. A lot of agents are out of the business. The people that are staying in are the people that understand that this is not an easy business. We have to work hard. We have to prospect. We have to learn, and now we have to learn more than ever, because our business is going to be changing. In August, and you know what? I'm ready. And I'm learning, because I'm gonna get it down. So it's embedded in me that I know, what to say, how to say, and when to say it.
I want to be like Marty when I grow up.
Yeah, me too.
We better start wrapping it up, though.
Yeah, we better start wrapping it up.
Do you want? I know you have a book.
Yes.
You want to talk about your book a little bit?
Let's talk about your book.
Well, just real quick. It's just 11 Universal Laws for Building Financial Freedom. I wrote it with my co-author, Casey Phoenix. We actually wrote it together on Zoom, by the way, because we wrote it during COVID. But I'm really proud of it because I feel like it was just my way to teach people how I did what I did, right? It's not a hard book to read. It's basically just the principles, the mindset, the law of attraction, the sales, the duplication, replication, the building systems, and just principles like that show people that when you go into business, it's about scalability. It's about replication. It's about creating outlets. And ultimately, it all comes down to passive income, right? That's why we buy real estate. That's why that's why I trade options, or I put money into dividend paying stocks and things like that, is because I'm always thinking of cash flow. I'm thinking of that passive income that's coming in. So if anybody, I think any small entrepreneur, has a little business, or like a salesperson or something like that, get the book. It's on Amazon. It's an easy read to get you to remind yourself of all the important principles that you need to have as an entrepreneur in this economy.
Well, because remember, I met this 21-year-old kid he started with nothing, and you've
look at him now.
$7 an hour I was making at that time, right?
Yep. So it can be done.
Anything is possible if you believe.
And me too. One of 11 kids raised in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house in El Monte. Yep.
You're a badass, Marty. You're a badass.
That's right. And you know what? And it was like, we didn't know we were poor, because my dad never told us we were poor. We just kept working. It's like, go to school, get good grades, get out there and work. And then, he knew that I could sell. He used to make me go sell Shakti products for him, door to door.
Wow.
And then, I was in school. I was the top Christmas card seller, the top candy seller, because I would go door to door, because, I didn't know any different, right? I just went door to door and I could sell, because in those days we could do it. Your kids can't do that today.
Right.
But again, it's exciting that here we are.
That's
Yeah.
it.
We started with nothing.
Yep.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I think we're gonna be wrapping it up now. I think we can continue this conversation for a little while longer, but we're gonna wrap it up. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you, everybody. And we'll see you next time, Real Talk with Marty. And I just want to say thank you to Daniel for being our special guest. It has been a long time coming, and thank you.
Love
Thank
it.
you, Daniel.
Well worth it.
Bye, everybody.